lot about it. Shrey, very good friend of mine, we met him. So I was pretty excited to do this. So the day is finally here, and we're finally here doing this series. So now, a quick, little bit of a technical snafu that happened just a while ago. I actually thought I'll do a fun presentation on what Flutter is, but unfortunately, that just stopped working just about now. Because just think about it. When do things usually stop working? Just when you don't want them to stop working. This always happens. There's always something that ends up going wrong just before the event starts, and unfortunately, that happened today. But don't worry, I'm going to try my best to do a short presentation here on what Flutter is. But then the app, that's the main highlight of our session today. We're going to be building a Lewis Capaldi app. So I don't know if you have seen the screenshot, but that's the main app that we're going to be doing. So a quick thing on what Flutter is. So if you go on flutter.dev, which is their main website, mainly Flutter is a cross-platform framework. So traditionally, what would happen is if you wanted to create an Android app, you would have to learn Java and everything about Android. If you wanted to create an iOS app, well, I think you'd have to learn all about Swift and everything about iOS development. You'd have to create two apps for basically the same thing. Now, what Flutter does is, using just one code base, you can create an iOS and an Android app with just one code base. So if you ever want to push out an update, you don't need to update in two places, just one update, and then you can sync it for both platforms. Now, this is just scratching the surface. Flutter is also extremely easy. So you will see that today on how easily we build the app. And Flutter offers some great features, such as hot reload, which again, we'll be talking about this in today's app. So yes, so there was a good presentation. I promise you guys there was a good presentation, but well, stuff happens and we don't have it. But well, so if you want to see what app we're going to be building today, so far, any questions on this? All right, everyone seems fine. It will pick up from now, folks. Just hang in there. So if you want to see what app we're going to be building today, head over to GitHub and search my name. Right, so with the dash, Rohan Kadkol, and you should.
Rohan, can you zoom in a bit?
Zoom in, yeah. And then head over to users, and the first user here, repositories, and it should be the first one, the Lewis Capaldi app. So click on it. And again, oh, actually, I'll share this link so you all can. Yep. Thank you. Perfect. Yeah, that's nice. And so this is what app we're going to be building. It's a very simple UI app. So some text, some images, some buttons, some icons here. So we're going to be talking about the fundamentals of UI design, some very easy widgets. And you'll see this looks like I would say a rather beautiful app, but we're going to see how we build this using Flutter in just less than an hour. So you'll get to see like how Flutter works, and you get to see how easy it is also. Now, we're going to be doing our coding in Android Studio. So don't let this intimidate you. Everything will be clearly explained. But we're going to use Android Studio and an Android emulator here. Now, so if you don't have Flutter set up already, not a problem at all. There's a great tool online called Dartpad. So head over to dartpad.dev and reset all the changes and click on Flutter. So Dartpad is a code editor, and you can even see the output. You can actually see the app running. So yep. Thank you, Shay. Yep. And then so here you can type the Flutter code, and then you can click on Run, and then you should see the app appear here. So this is one sample app that just says Hello World. But what app we're going to be building, that also you can do it here. So head back over to GitHub, scroll all the way up to the top, and click on Code. So we're going to be cloning this repository on our local systems. So copy this link here by pressing on this. And if you have Android Studio, head over to Android Studio, File, New, and Project from Version Control. So our plan is going to clone this repository on our local system. And now here it asks you a URL. Paste the URL here for our repository. Then click on clone. And by the way, if there are any questions, you can ask that too. And click on no when they ask this question. And now, so now you have cloned the repository on your local system. Now to open it on File, Open, and so I saved it here. So head to the folder where you clone the project, right? There was a directory icon there. So I will here choose it and then click on OK. And a new window. So a couple of things have happened here. Any questions so far? Cool. This was for the people who want to follow along with Android Studio. Everyone's fine? Okay. Now, for folks who want to follow along, with Dartpad, right? You can click on this branch icon here and head over to step 1, starter code. So this whole app is divided into multiple steps with starter and solution code. So head over to step 1, starter code, and under lib, and this main.dart, right? Under lib and then main.dart. And copy everything that's here. So this would be a little tedious or long process, but if you're using Dartpad, then you can do it this way. Select all the code and delete it and paste a new one, and then run the app. And now what should happen is you should see the output of this code, right? So when we go to the next step, I'll tell you what to do for folks who are following with Dartpad. But any questions so far? Can proceed? Cool. So now here on our those who are following with Android Studio, the same process. On the bottom, you should see this Git. So currently, if you notice, and move this, on the Git, you have 14 remote branches here. Right? These are all the steps that we have. So on our local, we just have master. Let us download step 1, starter code, so we can start working on our app. And then click on checkout. So click on the remote branch and click on checkout. And now it should download. So if you click on this again, you'll notice that step 1 starter code is downloaded on your local system. So now expand this directory. Yes, let me move this to the second screen. So expand this directory here, expand the lib folder, and double click on main. If you get any errors here, not a problem. Click on get dependencies. So it will just download. So if you have used Python, it's like basically the pip, right? How will you download all the dependencies? If you have done Android Studio, then all the Gradle dependencies. And if you still get some errors here, so these are some initial setup. So head over to this under the root directory, this pubspec.yaml file, and run this pub get. So hopefully the errors go away. Which is, so ideally, it's hold on a second there. This is, are you also getting the same errors as me? So everyone's fine, or it's just for me? But this usually shouldn't happen. Everyone's getting the same errors, or is it just me? How's it? Will fail cradle. All right. So some other. So well, then one thing we can do is invalidate caches and restart. So this, I mean, it should work. So just maybe some caching problem. So just click on this button, this invalidate and restart, and hopefully that should fix it. And Vishwan Raval is saying something, so it should restart. And it should restart here. Okay, some people are working on VS Code. All right, that also would work. And hopefully that error should go away. And if not, then yes. If not, then we'll just do it in Dart file. But yeah, but this error is rather surprising, and we haven't done anything here. Yep, and that fixes it. So that was just some caching problem. Cool. So that's C++ coding. So we mainly will focus in Dart. And if you want to do native coding, we actually can. So we can do Android development using C++. That's not recommended, but mainly it's Dart or now Kotlin. But yes, for Android development, you can in some way, but not for traditional Flutter. Cool. Now to run the app, choose your emulator if you have it set up, and click on the play button. And now it should take some time. Yes, to refresh. So now we'll give it some time here. And now let's briefly go over what steps you want to implement today. So if you go to the master branch, right? So the home page, and then to the root. So this is basically where the README is. So we're going to start with our initial setup. We have a blank screen, and we build every step. We build every widget, in one step. So first his quote, then his image, then his name and the tagline, then the icons, and finally the buttons, and then some finishing touches. So these are our steps. So let's and now we should start to move on. What are some of the features that Flutter would not be able to do that native? Yes, very good question. So Flutter, even though it is, it does most of the things, there are some things that only native development can do. And some of those things are like background tasks. So if you want to run something on the background when the app is closed, sadly, you would have to use native development features for that. The reason being, since these background tasks are implemented very differently for Android and for iOS. So there's no way to have something common that you can do that would work on both. So for stuff like background tasks, we would have to use native development. But most of the usual features would work. Most of the UI features would work with Flutter. So that wouldn't be too much of a problem. Cool. So now we have got our app to work. Now this is when we create a new Flutter project. This is the kind of demo app that Flutter would give us. So now let me explain a little bit about how the app works. So in our main.dart file, there's a main method that has this run app, my app, that basically is running the app that is specified within these braces. Now, don't worry if you don't understand, everything of it is totally fine. Basically, this my homepage is this whole homepage. And this home property here says what is the home page. So in layman's terms, to break it down, is the run app, it runs my app, which is this here, this class, right? Within this class, you are telling what's the home widget, right? Your home page. Your home page is this my home page. This my home page is actually this very long class here, right? You can scroll all the way down. Now we don't want to use this. We want to create our own home page. So our first to do is delete all of this. So scroll all the way down, or shortcut Control Shift End and delete it. So basically everything starting from line 45 all the way to the end, delete it. You should get an error here. We're going to fix this. Now, traditionally, all Flutter screens, you would have to paste them under the lib folder and a screens folder. This is a convention that we will follow. So our new home screen will go under the lib. So right click on lib, new, and directory. Now, if you're following along in Dartpad, you can skip this step and I will tell you what to do for that. Screens, create a new folder there. Right click on screens, new, on file, and create here home screen dot. And you can click on cancel or add. It doesn't matter for now. So lib screens and our home screen. Now here, right, our home page, it should refer to this home screen. So things will get clear. So we have completed 2 and 3. Let me Control X and paste those to-dos 4, 5, and 6 in this file. Cool. So here, let's create a widget. So one thing in Flutter is that everything, you'll hear this term called widgets quite often. So everything in Flutter is a widget. So you could have a composition of widgets. So there could be a widget within a widget. In layman's terms, let's break everything down. Everything in Flutter is a widget. So our home screen is also going to be a widget. So here you can type a shortcut STL and click on enter, and it writes all this code for you. Now for the name of this widget, you can name it home screen. And to solve all these errors, just click on any of these errors and Alt enter, or for VS Code, Control dot, right, and import this material package. So just like how we would do imports in other languages, right, we're importing the material package that contains the declarations, or the code for all of these classes here. So I'm not hearing anything in the chats. So is everyone fine? Going too fast? How's it? Everyone? Everyone's okay? Yeah, good so far. All right, everyone thinks it's good. Cool. So now we have this home screen widget. Now in our main.dart, right, our main.dart, let us delete this. So to do 7 is delete this whole line. What is the theme data? Oh, this theme, very good question. So this theme data, it talks about the theme for our app. So our color themes. So you can double click on this primary swatch and click on it and type red, and you will see the theme will, and then yeah, we have some error here. So we'll see what will happen now. For now, let's keep it as blue. I will come to your question, Pallavi, sir. No. Now, on the home page, type your home screen and click on enter. So basically, we are trying to refer to this home screen class that we have here, right? That will be our home screen. So now main.dart home screen, put the parenthesis, and now import it. So Alt enter and import. So any one of these two statements would work. Now Control S. So if you're on Android Studio, Control S, and now let's talk. So you should get this black screen. Now if you're on Dartpad, So basically to do one is delete all of this. So we'll delete all of this. Now, so yes. So I actually would recommend is since on Dartpad, if we like to save time, one shortcut is head over to the solution or okay, quickly, just let me know who all are using Dartpad. Who all are using Android Studio? Okay, one person using Dartpad. Okay, people are using Dartpad. All right. Okay, so there are people who are using Dartpad. Fine. Sure. Then this would be the best approach. Is since there's no autocomplete here, so we'll have to type all the code out. So head over to the step one starter code branch under the lib folder, right, under the main.dart folder, and you copied all of this. Okay, you know what I'll do? I will paste everything for you, so it will save your time. So you can just paste this in your Dartpad, so it will save you some time. Since okay. Just paste. Oops. Oh, I didn't share it. Just paste this, the code that I sent. Paste it here below, right? And so I will also paste it here. And now our home page should now refer to home screen. So basically this should refer to this here. Now let's see if everything works. We should get a black screen if everything works. Zoom in. Is it better now? So some
audio looks good, but for the browser, can you zoom in a little bit more?
Oh yes, sure. Maybe
Yeah.
talking about the zoom in. Cool. And so looks like this will cause a problem here. Okay, now, okay, good now. All right. So paste that code that was given, paste it here below, and now click on run, and you should get a black screen if everything works fine, right? So very quickly, let's talk about what we did in this step. Our home screen now points to this home screen widget that's here. Click hide next to the 8 issues to get, yeah, thanks for, so I haven't used Dartpad, I use an Android, thanks for letting me know. Cool. So now this is what we want to work on. This home screen here is what we're going to work on. So let's actually, so if those who are in Android Studio, you can click on, let's download. So step one is done. Let's download step two starter code. So click on it and then click on checkout. Step two starter code and then click on checkout. And that should work. And the reason we're doing this is since now we'll get the updated to-dos, right? And when you go into step two, step one is already implemented. So if you missed anything, don't worry, head over to step two starter code. Step one is already implemented. So now we're going to work on lib screens home screen.dart. So we're going to work on this now. So for the folks who are using Dart code, let me paste this for you. So it looks untidy here, but once you paste it, so you can delete these lines here, and let's add our own to-dos so you can follow along. You know what? I will, since most of you are using Dartpad, I will code it here. So now within this container, delete this container, and we should change this to scaffold. So every screen will have a scaffold widget. Now if you click run, you should get a white screen if everything works correctly. Oh, yes. So this would take time. So we should get a white screen. Now let's check our UI here. So, right. So we did step one, we got the black screen. Now we still need a black screen here. So it's very easy. Under dart pad, inside the scaffold, there's a property called background color. So this is how you would specify parameters. What exactly is scaffold? Yes, very good question. So scaffold, think of it as an encapsulation for a screen. So scaffold, as a name, like in English, it suggests, it's like a foundation or something, right? Scaffold is like a foundation of your building. So you will build everything that's there in the screen within this thing called scaffold. So that's our plan. So scaffold is like a container that stores everything. Good question. So now under this, the background color, colors dot black. So this is amazing since you don't need to specify the like the hex code or something. Just the material design, like Flutter automatically provides you this list of colors. Run. Now you should get a black background. Good. Now within our scaffold, we need to talk about the body of it. So there's the body, and so it's not equal to. There's a common mistake in Flutter. We would use this the colon, right? Now for the body defines the meat of your scaffold, the meat of it. So here we're going to use something called a column. Now, what is a column in Flutter? Now, what is a column in English? It's like a vertical arrangement of items, which is what we want, right? We want a vertical arrangement of some items. So our body will be a column widget. So instead of theme, can we use any color? Pink. Yep, you can use any color. So in your theme, this primary swatch here, you can change it to any color, and so basically, yep, you can change it to any color. I will come to that question soon. Yeah. So currently we're using a total black screen, so you can't observe that change. But yes, you can use any color. Cool. Now within our column will take something called children. So there's some formatting here, and there's a children here. The children will take an array of widgets. I mean, not color. Instead of theme data, can we use color? You mean here? Right. So yes. So if possible, if you can speak it out, and then we can quickly go with this. So cool. So within this column, we have this children widget here, and I'll paste this if you want to follow along. This is what we have so far. Now, within this children, let us specify our first thing that we have. So in step two, we want this text here. So it's very easy. We just need a text widget. So you might be thinking, where's the new keyword? So in Dart, you don't need the new keyword. You can just directly write the class's name, and it creates an object of that class. Now within the text, within the quotation marks, just type in this text here. And run it now, and you should see it appear in our app. So it should appear. Oh yes. So currently we can't see it since the text color is by default is black. So now how do we change color in of this text? Again, very easy. Between the braces of our text, put a comma, right? So basically between the parentheses, you can just type anything. So here you can type in style. So there's a style property for this text, and it takes in something called a text style. So I'll just format it for you and paste it. So this is So if everyone had Android Studio, we could have done it here, but I'll try my best so everyone is can follow along. So you can paste that. Now within this text style, it takes in an attribute called color. And now here you can type colors.white. Now if you press in the run, but I was saying replace theme data by colors. In the so we started the code, I was saying theme data can be replaced by. So you mean this? So I'm confused with Pallavi, what you're asking. Yeah, I would recommend, since we are like running short of time, I would recommend you. I can solve your question later too, and we can talk about that. Good. So now we got this text. We got the text color to be white, and now to center this text. So within this column, you can type in cross-axis alignment, and the cross-axis alignment would be cross-axis alignment dot. So you get these options here. So you can type in so so this would actually take some okay. So all right, the thing is, so would you all be okay if I do it in Android Studio and you can follow along in Dartpad? Would that be fine? That would be much faster. I'll paste the code for you. So traditionally, what we wanted was everyone downloads or everyone sets it up, and people who haven't, they can go to Dartpad. But is it fine if I do it in Android Studio for all of us? All right. So that will be, since the to-dos are there, it's much more quicker. So now we are in step 2, start code. Let's replace this by our. So our home screen, very quickly now, this will be quick. Scaffold, it takes a scaffold. The background color of the scaffold will be colors.black. So I'll just come back to that step. Now the body, so scaffold takes a body, right? The main meat of our screen. Our main meat will be a column, right? A column. Column will have children. Children one will have text. So the text will be so what we have here. This is his quote, right? His main quote of Louis Capaldi. So we paste it here. Control S. So we can't see it now since so we have a style attribute. Style will take a text style, and text style will have a color, colors.white, right? Now, if you're in Android Studio, one good shortcut is Control Alt L. Oops, Control Alt L, and that reformats the code for us. Let me run that since I did not run it. All right. This will take some time. And now to center this, so what we have here is our main axis alignment. So main axis means how will you center, how will you arrange the width? So until that loads, our main axis alignment so main axis for a column is vertical. So now it will place it vertically. I mean centered vertically. Now to center it horizontally, you can so here we're using cross-axis center. So on Dartpad, let's see if it works. So be sure to put a comma, and now let's run it again, and it should center it. And if it doesn't, so that's that. Now within our so first let's style our text here. We need a font size of 20.0. So this is how you would specify font size in our app. Font size 20.0, and Control S. You see the size increases, and is something called font weight, right? So within our text style is a font weight that takes in a font weight. So now if you see this in font weight class, we have multiple of these options, 900 being thick, right? So Control S is very thick. So what we're going to use is 900 actually. We'll make it as thick as possible. Color is white. Control S and L. Now inside the column, this cross-axis alignment. Let's have cross-axis alignment dot center, and oh yes, and there's one more thing inside the text. I hope it's not too confusing. I'm trying my best. So inside under the text property, there's this text align property, and here you can just type in text align dot center. So this center aligns the text for us. Center aligns the text for us. So we have done this. Yes. Now to center this text within the screen, the main axis alignment of the column, main axis alignment should be center. So Control S, and it should come here. So now I will paste whatever is in this return, so you can take that out. So this was step 1. Now for those who couldn't get it centered here, one easy fix is wrap your column. So Alt Enter, wrap it within this center widget, and I will paste this for all of you. And everything should work fine now. So it should be centered, and you get this as here. So I think that's the latest code. We have done step 2 now. We have the text here. Let's move on to our step 3, which is the image. So if you're on Android Studio, let's save the changes. So git add dot and git commit -m. Just any message here will be fine. Now completed. Step 2. Please wrap the code in Zoom chat as well. Wrap the code. So you mean like the formatted? Yes. So yes. So when we paste it, the format will be fine. So and if it's not fine, just let me know. Cool. This is step 2. All right. Now let's download step 3. Start a code, and I will keep pasting all of you. Check out for center wrap. It's without center wrap. All right, let me. Okay. All right. So okay, so this is I'll just paste the whole home screen, and hopefully that works for everyone. So sorry about this. I don't think it's so. I hope you can follow along. So usually what I do in most of the workshops, we do it in Android Studio itself. That's usually faster. So all right, cool. We have this here. Cool. Now let's start working on our image. So so within the column, remember we have this column. So the column takes in an array of widgets. So an array of widgets that are stacked vertically. So first we have a text. Now a second one, it should be our image. So let's see how we do that. So for image, there's an image widget here. The image widget, it takes in an image property. So what we want to do is we want to download this image from the internet. So from the web. So we type in here something called network image. And within this network image, we're going to type in the URL of our image. So now this part, head over to Chrome or whatever is your browser and type in Louis Capaldi images, just basically images, and take the first one, whatever you get, right click on it and click open image in a new tab or copy image address, right? We basically want this URL, oops, actually not, copy image address. Yep, okay, let's take this one, copy image address, and you should get something like this, right? And then the end, so this is basically the image that is online. We just copying the reference to it. So copy this URL and paste it here. So now if you press Control S, you see the image appear here. So don't worry, I will paste the code for all of you too. Let's give it a height of it of 200 and a width of 200. Control S, you notice it resizes, right? Let me paste this image widget. So you can just paste it below the text here, right? Now, in order to get this rounded shape here, right, wrap this image within something called clip R rect. So if you don't understand, you alt enter, and if not, I will paste the code for you. We're basically wrapping this image within something called a clip R rect, right? And this clip R rect, it takes in something called a border radius. So this seems to be turning out to be more of a like, see what Flutter can do. All right. So within this border radius, you're basically specifying the curve, right? If you notice in our app here, the image has this curve here, this beautiful curve. So to get this curve, it's very easy in Flutter. You can just type in here border radius dot all, dot circular, and for the radius, type in a radius of 20.0. So Control S, and now if you notice, you notice here the image is curved. Without this line, it won't be curved, right? So that's one advantage you get with that. And let me paste this here. How to add the text below the image? Yep, we'll get to that. So this is step 3. So can someone just unmute the mic and tell me how is everything going? Because I think it's not going well, and people are not understanding. But I think so we usually do it in the Flutter series where we do it this like a weekly thing. So this is like a crash course. So I think since we have less time, how's it going? Someone can unmute and just let me know.
It's good. It's fine.
It's fine. So I know it's a lot that I'm throwing at you, and many new terms, and I'm trying my best to explain it. And if you don't understand it, not a problem. I will do it quickly here, but you can always ask me later on, and I'll try my best to help you out. So yeah, this is the thing. So our step 3 was we implemented the image, and also, by the way, this you can even follow this by yourself even after the session. That's because everything is, they have these detailed to-dos that I put here. I put these detailed to-dos, so everything will go in order. Just follow these to-dos in order and you should get the app. And also this solution code, so if you ever get stuck, just compare these branches and you compare with current, and some you can compare, so don't worry. Cool, so we have implemented the image. Let's save our changes here. Add dot it commit dash m, just completed step. This is step 3. Let's download step 4 starter code, and I'll paste it. Step 4, check out. Yeah, okay, cool. So for the step 4 now, so now Control S. So I used a different image there, so it's the same thing. copy everything in this home screen. So you can just paste it in your dartpad. So everything that we have in our home screen so far, this is how it should look like. So where's the chat? Okay, you can just paste it within there. Oh, it looks like some of the image got cropped off. Notepad, paste this here, save as just anything. Quickly, come on, let's anything. Yep, and let me share this file with you. So that's the
What?
sorry.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Why are you adding git commands right now?
Git commands. Yeah, good question. So this is not for our app. This is just so we can switch branches. So it's if you're on Dartpad, not a problem. You won't need to do it. And also here, you won't need to do these git commands. I'm just writing them and I'm not explaining it, but it's just for switching branches in Android Studio. Good question, Pallavi. So yeah.
In the other case, you would have to stash it, which isn't really good in terms of Git like considerations. So committing is better than you can squash commits if needed.
Absolutely, she is correct. So stash it would delete the changes and like you could get it back later, but it would technically delete it. We're just saving it. So committing means it's like a save basically. So we're saving the changes in step 3, and we're going to step 4. Cool. So how do I share this notepad file with you? Gosh, it's so so looks like all the text hasn't come. Okay, I will just share everything that is within the children. So you can just copy paste it before the children, right? And that also isn't working.
Rohan, if you have our Slack open, you can paste the file.
That's a big relief. Okay, so you all can see the.
Yes, hopefully everyone is in the Slack so they can get the file from there.
Oh, good. Yes. So I will. So in where I'll paste it in general.
Yeah,
in general.
Yeah. Okay. This is a good. This is extremely good. So I will just paste whatever should be in home screen, and okay. Yeah, this is very helpful. Yep. So you can take it from there. Cool. This is good now. So now we all can do it quickly. So currently in our step, if you notice in our app, we have the text here, we have our image. Now let's go on to getting the text for uh, um, the name. So first things first is we must add something called a sized box. So let me make it as easy as possible. This is a sized box widget that takes in a height of here we're giving it a height of, sure, let's give it a 5.0, a comma. So now if you press Control S, basically what you're doing is, so in the Flutter inspector, yeah, I'll just go a little quickly here. You notice this, 25, we're adding some space here. So we're adding a small space of 5. And the next thing that we're going to add in this column is a text widget that takes in a text of Louis Capaldi. Control S. Notice the text is pasted here. Now, again, same as last time. This is style, text style, colors.white. I'm going a little quickly. We are running short of time, but I'll paste the code and you can follow along. Font size, let's give it a size of 20.0. So this is in units of pixels, right? So for the font weight, there's a font weight property. So let me font weight.w 600. So Control Alt L. So now, I mean, it's pretty intuitive. So don't stress too much. Basically, style, right? You can specify it this way: colors, white, size, and weight. So Control S. You notice with the higher number here, you get a more thicker text. Cool. Now below this, there's another sized box, right? Of 5.0, of height 5.0, and put a comma here. And now we must have our text that says singer, songwriter. Now for the style here, right, it's basically, I'll just copy this text style. So everything in this whole of style property, Control C, and paste it here. So this is just a shortcut, and the size of this would be W300, and we gave this as a size of 30. So Control S, and now we should see this design here. So again, let me copy everything that is there in this onto our Slack, and you can take it from there. So yes, quickly, let me save the changes again. So as Pallavi had asked, what's this? Don't get scared of this Git, not a problem, everyone. This is not related to our app. So just if you're an Android Studio, just so we can move to the next branch. Otherwise, there might be some problems that we could encounter. Now, head over to step 5, starter code. So now we're going to implement the icons. Remember those 6 icons here? So if you notice, now we're in step 5. We're going to implement these icons. Step 4 is this. Step 5 is these icons. So let's have an emulator here. Just remove this inspector. Now in the column, this is what we should have. So the to-dos, you can take that later. Now, below the singer-songwriter, let's add some space, right? So here we have a space of height of 20.0. So now if you press Control S, you notice this, we have some space here. Now whatever we write below this will be right below the size box. Now, next, if you notice here, all of these icons are in a horizontal arrangement, a row. Right? Remember in Google Sheets, right? A row, right? A row is horizontal. Column is vertical, row is horizontal. So let us have our row here. So under the row, there's a children property here. What we're going to do is we're going to add something called icon buttons. Right? And under the icon button, it takes in icon. So I'll write it quickly and I'll paste it for all of you. So icons, let me just quickly, yep. Icons dot. So, oh yes, a couple of things here. We are actually going to use one online package to get these icons. So these icons aren't installed by default. So very quickly, we can head over to pub.dev, which is similar to like for your pip, right? You can Google search some pip repository as your library is there. So here you can search for, oops, this library here. And yes, so this, and I think, yes, since we have very less time, I'll just do the app and then you can ask questions later. We might have to extend slightly more, but I'll try to do it as quickly as possible. So and this would be a good way for you to see how Flutter works, rather than actually, yeah, in a 1 hour session, I think this is best. And so now when you do pub get, it's similar to your pip in Python. You download all your dependencies. And now let us restart the app. Okay. And let's wait for the app to start again. Right, let's give it some time. So now we are nearing the end. We're going to do those icons, then those buttons, and then we're done. So any questions quickly? We can take a few questions if you have. I think this won't be a workshop where you learn like actual Flutter, but you at least get to see how it works. And this repository is online, so you can follow along and ask me questions if needed. Any questions quickly until the app loads?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, if you want to add the text above the above and below, so it's necessary that we have to write the text above the image and then below the image also. In
Yes,
the same
very good.
order.
Absolutely. So the same order that you paste it here. So if you notice here, the same order. Control S. Oops. Yep, Control S. You notice this? Yep. Then comes the image, then comes the size box, then comes the text. So yep, in the same order. Correct. Cool. Good question. Let's delete this and let's
And
get back.
one more that I was
Yes.
asking about theme data.
Uh-huh.
That in the starting when we write the code, there you have written theme data. Instead of that, can we use that
Yes.
colors dots any color? Uh,
Yes. So actually in our apps, when we have the app bar, today we don't have an app bar, but in most apps, right, we couldn't change. So in our, quickly, I'll tell this. So in our theme, this theme data will have to be as it is. But here in primary swatch, you can change this to red. So your whole app will have a red theme. But today we are just hard coding it with this black theme, this dark. So we won't do anything with this. But yes, you can change these this primary swatch here. You can add primary colors here. Primary color for your app, right?
and
Colors
what's the
dot.
difference between that theme data and this color dot that we will use?
So this theme data is a collection of all the themes. So colors, your font sizes, your text themes. So this is an encapsulation of all those themes. The color is just this primary swatch is think of it as a palette of colors that you would use. Uh, yes. So I will I'll be happy to take your questions. I'll quickly. So I hope you don't mind, Shrey and Dakshita. I'll just quickly do this. And
Yeah, take your time.
yes, and yeah. So folks, I hope you also don't mind if we explain a little bit. I'll try my best to do it as best as I can. Now here, what's our first icon? So our first icon here is Instagram. So we use this library. So Instagram, and now let's load our. Okay. Oh, yes, one more thing that will give us an error here on pressed. So basically, when we press it, we'll just write Instagram pressed. So now, oh yes, let's add a color to this icon. Colors.white. So you notice this white, and now when you press it, you notice in our console, get this and move this. Yeah, Instagram pressed, right? So now let's create. Oops, let me add a comma here. Let's create 6 icons like this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so Instagram's, Twitter, Spotify. So it's same thing. Instagram, Twitter, Spotify. Next is YouTube, Facebook, Apple. So very quickly, YouTube, Facebook, and Apple. We're nearing the end, so Apple. And now we press Control S, and you notice you have all these icons here, and it works. Now the thing is, you want to let me show you in the inspector. So all of it is clinging to the left. So under your row, there's a property called main axis alignment, and we'll do main axis alignment dot center, and it comes into the center, right? You can experiment around with this, like end, it sticks to the end. What we're going to do is actually space evenly, so it spaces it evenly across the row, right? So some things in there, spaces it evenly across in the row. Cool. Right. So now we've done this part, so that's very good. Let's save our changes again. Yeah, save our changes again. Let me move this the terminal. Yeah, git add dot git commit. Any message here? Completed step 5. It doesn't matter. And now once you have saved the changes, we can head over to step 6. Step 6 starter code and check out. And now that step 6 is actually the main end. So click on this get dependencies if you have any things. Let me paste what we. So it may not work on dartpad. Actually, I just remembered there's a dependency that we need to have. So I don't think it would work on dartpad, but I will still share it on Slack. It may or may not work. But in the future, I could even help you out in the future to download Android Studio, or you could download it yourself and download Android Studio, and then you can do these to-dos in order, and you'll get this dependencies, and you can do all sorts of stuff, right? That's the most professional way to do it. So it'll be helpful. Control S. This is the state of the app that we have so far. Now, our step 6, let's do the buttons. So for the buttons, first let's add that space here, right? The space. So const is just basically constant. The size box won't change. A height of 20.0. So you get this 20.0. Now let's start to add our button. So first our button, flat button. Okay, some error here. Okay, let's put a comma, right? You have to separate all of these with commas. So flat button. Now flat button takes a child. Child will be a text that says concerts. Control S. You won't be able to see it as we need to style this text. So text style color, colors.white, and now you should be able to see it. Now the flat button, remember those colors there? Flat button had a color of red. So the whole button will be red now. Oh yes. And it still won't work. You have to add an on pressed. So it's basically an anonymous. So you might see this in JavaScript, right? You might. Dart is a collection of all these languages. Here you can just print in the console like concerts pressed. Control S, and now you see the red. And now when you press concerts in your console, right, you should see that work. Now if you notice, we have one more flat button, right? So let's copy this flat button and paste this flat button here for merge. Always the commas, so comma in the previous one, and let's change this to merge, right? And now merge pressed. So now, right, you see this, you get those buttons here. You get that now. And now if you see these two, let me remove this blue, this like grid lines, they're actually touching each other. So by default, there's some padding here, but let's add some more space. So between these two flat buttons, let us add a sized box. Height of 5.0. So if you notice now, there's that small line here. It's a little hard to see, so let me enlarge this, right? You see this line, 55, it'll basically be 5. Oops, I mean 5. And that's our app. Now, so I hope you saw how, like, sure, in the beginning it could take some time, but when you get a hang of Flutter, it's this easy to make a UI as this. Oh, by the way, this, if you notice here, these buttons are curved. So you can get to see how quickly you can add curves to these buttons. So these buttons take a shape. So for the flat button shape, this rounded rectangular border. Let me just see if it is. Yeah, and this takes a border radius. Just like last time, right? Border radius is a concept dot circular 10.0. You notice the first button, it gets curved now. So it might be a little hard to see. Let me zoom in. And you can see this. Okay, now let me get out of this. Okay, get the curve here. Let me do Control Alt L, so it'll be much more neater. Alt L, and let me add the shape property to this flat button. And now the second button also will be curved, and that's our app. So I was planning to explain every line step by step, but in a 1 hour session, it's pretty hard, and we had some difficulties in the start too, some technical stuff. So I hope I try to give. I try my best to explain as much as possible, but we couldn't. So I hope this session at least helped you see how good Flutter is. And for questions on how to do something, you can ask me later. Cool. So that's that's the end of our thing. So yeah.
One last thing, how to
Yes.
remove that debug sign that it's coming on the top right?
Very good question. So
Manual
there's a
setting.
very good question. So in the main.dart, so under the material apps, there you can specify multiple properties here. There's a property called show debug Yeah, debug show checked mode banner. Yep, and set this to false. And now it should go away. Right. So by default, it's true. So basically, like I know it's a lot to digest, but like it's just so easy, right? I just have to change one property here. By default, if I don't specify this property is true, but now I should just specify to false, and I can do small changes. To add the curve, I can just add a border radius property. So yeah, I hope you saw how easy it is to use Flutter. Yeah, so let me see the chat.
Awesome. There's a question in the chat. Where would you
Yes.
recommend beginning to learn Dart from?
Dart. So actually, like Dart is a collection of, actually what happens is for having short code, and Java is good for having detailed code. C++ is good for like pointers kind of thing. So basically what Dart is a collection of the best parts of all the programming languages. So it takes a bit from JavaScript, it takes a bit from Python, it takes a bit from Java, and it combines all the best portions into this language called Dart. So actually, you don't need to specifically learn Dart like that just by doing some Flutter development. It will come naturally if you have some experience in all these other languages. There's Java, Python, the usual ones, right? We all use, or JavaScript. So actually, I wouldn't recommend you directly learn that. You'll be fine by just knowing all the other languages. And the moment you start to sit down to do Flutter, it'll just come gradually. So yeah, just do Flutter development. It will come gradually. Yes. Yes. Any other questions here?
If not, great. It was a great workshop, Rohan.
Yes, thank you.
If you all have any more questions, you can always post them in the questions channel on our Slack, and we'll get back to you there. So yeah, thank you so much for coming, Rohan. It was great having you. Shrey, do you want to say something?
Oh, I was just saying, just tag Rohan in the Slack so he gets notified when you ask a question so he can answer it as quickly as possible. And as usual, this will be uploaded to our YouTube channel and then you can view it there as well.
Yes. Okay, great. Thank you so much for coming, everyone.
Slack, yeah.
I'm gonna stop the recording at this point.